Welcome back, everyone. NicknLex here. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today we're back with another marathon. Thanks to ERIK from Queens. Thank you so much for sponsoring this video. I appreciate it. And we're gonna do a fusion marathon. Originally it was gonna be something else, but we decided to go ahead and do that with Alexia. So it's gonna be a surprise. So I'm not gonna spoil it. But let's look at the songs that ERIK chose for this. And I'm super excited because I love jazz fusion. I love any kind of jazz music, but I mean jazz fusion is where I feel that I'm at home the most. I don't know. It's just been a thing for a while now, for a couple of years. So ERIK says here these all come from very different places within the jazz fusion world, but I thought I'd put them together anyway. Hope you like him, ERIK. Very, very quick, no long explanations. We're going to do Herbie Hancock. We're going to do 4 a.m. from the album Mr. Hands from 1980. I had the pleasure of seeing Herbie Hancock with Alexia and her dad. Wonderful concert. A little bit after COVID, we still had to... was an amazing concert. Then Bob James. I don't know Bob James. The song Treasure Island, album BJ Thor from 77. Then another artist I'm not familiar with, Gilgamesh. The song is Playtime from the album Another Fine Tune You've Got Me Into, also from 78. And here, this one, I actually did a reaction myself to 3 songs, a little mini marathon I put together by myself. This is by Pierre Morlin's Gong, and this is an album called Espresso 2 from 1978. The song is called Golden Dilema. Now, I looked up this album. I was very excited because I was like, Allan Holdsworth is on that album, but unfortunately the track that we're doing does not feature him at all. He plays the rhythm guitar on song number 1 and the lead on 3 and 4, but we're gonna do song number 2. So even though he's on the record, we're not gonna hear him. It's not a big deal. Now, I've heard a lot of this album just in passing. I think I even own it because I once set out to download pretty much anything that had Holdsworth, or buy if it was possible to buy, but if not, just download it. And I pretty much found every CD he's ever been on. So I think I own this, at least I think in MP3 or something digitally. But yeah. It's really hard stuff to get. I'm super happy it's available here on Spotify. So we're going to check out those 4 songs. And then if we have some time left, I would love to play something of Holdsworth because we just lost him. Now it just marked 8 years and a little bit, 8 years and 2 days since we've lost Allan. And yeah, just as a tribute, I would like to add some of his more jazz fusion. I mean, everything he plays is jazz fusion, but a more jazz-oriented album from None Too Soon. This is from 1996. I wanted to give people an example because most people are like, oh yeah, I know him from Soft Machine. I know him from UK, but they never really dabbed into his later stuff, like from the 80s and 90s, maybe Metal Fatigue, but then 90s, 2000s, he has some amazing stuff during that time. So this is going to be a more, I think, a jazz oriented, like standard jazz, but just his playing on that is just fantastic. So we'll get into that in a second. So let's start it off here with Herbie Hancock, 4 a.m. Mr. Hands is the album. Let's check it out. And again, thank you all for being here again. Thanks, ERIK, for sponsoring the video. I appreciate it. And it's so cool to have, you know, people request even fusion marathons once in a while because it's very rare. So here we go with Herbie. Let's go. Starting off, I'm gonna pull up the album. I think I know that bass player. Jesus Christ. It sounds like the guy from Mahavishnu. Shoot some. That's gotta be Jocko. Let's see. It's Shaka Pastorius. Wow. Amazing. Just amazing. Okay, so I did hear, I didn't know that it was, oh my God, there's so many people on here that I'm familiar with. Obviously, Jaco Pastorius on the bass. I mean, it's like a given when he starts to play, it's just he has this unique sound and approach. Like it's just like I don't I don't think anybody sounds like him, you know. He's just like, not that he's like the best, but he was definitely one of the best. And you can just hear that he like the style. Also Paul Jackson is on this album, and then we have Tony Williams on the album, who is obviously a huge inspiration to everyone in the rock, you know, genre. But he is he on this he's on track number 1. Tony Tony Williams. And then Alphonse, I know Alphonse once wrote to me because I think I uploaded something by Aldi Meola from his first album, and he was like, hey, can you please credit me in the, this is a long time ago, before I met Alexia. And I already had a little YouTube channel I would upload jazz fusion to, and he asked like, hey, please, you know, if it's not too much to ask. And I think he passed away. Let's check it. Yes, in 2016. So yeah, that was man, this track was just amazing. Here, like Herbie Hancock, the keyboards, it reminded me a little bit of Mahavishnu, you know, orchestra, Jan Hammer, the kind of like distortion on the keyboard, beautiful improvisation. And we saw him, and he was playing this thing, he was standing, and he had like this, I don't know what they call it, but it's like a keyboard that hangs like a guitar, and he just was shredding on that thing. He was about 83 when we saw him. I think he's now 85. Or maybe he was maybe a little bit younger, maybe 80. It's maybe about 5 years ago, something. Wow, what a track. Honestly, what a way to open up a marathon. Just blows me away. So I think this obviously is going to be mostly instrumental music. So yeah, what to say? I mean, these are just all master musicians, and what a great track. I'm super obsessed with Herbie Hancock's Thrust album from 74. The track Actual Proof, that was something that I heard by Greg Howe, and I think it was Greg Howe, or it could have been also Frank Gambale who played that and covered it there first, and then I heard the actual original by Herbie Hancock. So good. This was awesome. Okay. We'll continue with this. Treasure Island is next, and this is by Bob James. Never heard him before. I'm totally going in blind here. All right. Let's pull him up. Wow. bit here. Wow. This was so good. Wonderful. Thank you so much for this, for the introduction. This was amazing. So Bob James, he's now around 85 years old. I mean, he has played pretty much with everyone under the sun in the jazz, light. What I loved here was the solos. Here, Eric Gale. I didn't know about Eric Gale. Wonderful, improvisation, and he was a big fan of John Coltrane. He would go during high school. After school, he would visit John Coltrane and sit in and learn. You could really hear the inspiration. What a great improviser, and the feel, man, amazing. I'm a fan. Literally, I just heard this for the first time, Eric Gale, and I can't wait to listen to more. And of course, Bob James here, wonderful improvisation. And I mean, if you go on Wikipedia, Steve Gadd was on the drums, nice. Steely Dan, of course. But if you just look up like his solo albums, he did like around 50, but he also worked with people. Oh my God. Like the list goes on. Foreplay, which I don't know. Chad Baker, George Benson, Ron Carter, Maynard Ferguson, Michael Franks. Oh, Michael Franks, so good. With Eric Gale, I'm going to check those out, those albums. Quincy Jones. I mean, the list goes on. Lee Ritenour. Oh my Lord. Just so many good players. This was amazing. Just everything about this song. The reggae vibe. Also Bob James solo at the end was amazing. So I didn't know about him. Like honestly, that's what I love when I, get to hear something that blows me away. And yeah, so how old is he now? I think I was right, 85. He was born in 1939. Crazy. All right, so let's check out the next one. This is called Gilgamesh Playtime. Never heard of them ever. So again, just like with Bob James, I have no idea what I'm getting into here, so let's check it out. So this has Soft Machine's bass player. Wow. I don't even know what to say. This is music, man. It is music, you know, that a lot of people maybe don't, you know, they hear it and they're like, well, you know, but I guess it takes time to get into this kind of stuff. I mean, it took me years, you know, to get into jazz fusion. And I think I also picked something that was kind of easier to get into because it was Aldi Meola who got me into the whole jazz fusion kind of thing, because that was what reminded me the most of like Yngwie Malmsteen, because Yngwie Malmsteen got me more into like instrumental music and also faster guitar players who did not just rely on like, you know, blues licks and stuff like that, you know, and like, because I got into bands like Metallica and Iron Maiden and stuff like that, and those guitar players are amazing, especially Iron Maiden's guitar players are amazing, and but they were never quite like as crazy as Yngwie Malmsteen. And then when I heard Aldi Meola the first time, I was like, wow, that sounds a lot like Yngwie Malmsteen, but just a lot more complex. I like it. And that's when I kind of got into jazz fusion with him, and then Strunz and Farah and stuff like that. And then I got into all the jazz fusion stuff that my dad likes, but he was more like a cool jazz kind of guy. He didn't like the jazz fusion too much. I mean, he did like Miles Davis and you know, stuff like that, and John Coltrane, but there was a limit. There was like it could get too crazy. But this was amazing. It was super sad right now. While I was reading about them, they're pretty much, the entire band has since passed away, you know, at different stages. You know, in 1981, the keyboard player passed away very, very young at the age of 33 from cancer. And in 2009, the bass player, both bass player, and then both drummers and the guitar player. It's just like so sad. I was really like, oh Lord. Sometimes it's better not to know. There's a really cool fact here that Alan Wakeman used to be part of this band. He is the cousin of says here, of Rick Wakeman from Soft Machine. Alan Wakeman and Rick Wakeman, of course, from Yes. And they're it was this fine line where progressive rock meets jazz fusion. This is the Canterbury Scene, this band from the Canterbury Scene. We've talked about this. Really cool. Wow, this was really, really good. Just really, really out there, but beautiful and very like, even like, it wasn't too wild. It was very organized, quiet, and beautiful improvisations. What a great band. Okay, so now we're going to get into the Espresso too. Golden Dilemma is the song. Give me just one moment, and then we'll play that as well. All right, here we go with Espresso 2. Espresso. Espresso, not espresso, not like the coffee. Golden Dilemma, here we go. Wow. My God, so good. Yeah, this music is just something else. I didn't know that there were basically two iterations of Gong. One that the one that I did a marathon of was the from the Time is Key album, and it does have that's insane. I didn't even know it had Holdsworth on there, but it does, and but maybe not the also Mike Oldfield and Mick Taylor, but it looks like there were like two Gong bands. One was Gong, and the other one was the Pierre Marlene's Gong. They've been making music since 1969, and they still released an album in 2023. So this is just amazing progressive rock. Just holy moly. Yeah. There's so much information about these bands, but yeah, there is Gong, then there's Paragong, and then there's Pierre Marlene's Gong, and they all kind of like, you know, have something in common. Sorry, I think I'm getting sick. Then there's Gong with Mike Oldfield. It's just oh wait, this is Pierre Marlene. Okay. Crazy stuff. So I'm definitely gonna listen to more. Thank you so much. And I'm gonna choose now a song to, you know, just to remember Holdsworth by, and I don't know what I'm gonna pick. I thought I was gonna do something by, I think I'm gonna do a number which is a cover by John Coltrane, because as you know, Holdsworth was a huge fan of the saxophone. That's actually the instrument that he wanted to play, and that's also why he sounds and a lot of people don't really know that that he was not really a fan of the guitar per se. He wanted to be, he wanted a saxophone and he got a guitar instead. So he was like, well, I'm just going to use this as a tool to express my music. So that's why everything that kind of Holdsworth plays just right from the beginning was set up with a saxophone in mind, the legato. You don't really hear a pick, you don't really hear a lot of bending. You hear a lot of whammy bar action, but that came in a little bit later. But I've not really seen like Holdsworth do a lot of bending when he plays live. He uses the Floyd Rose or the whammy bar and stuff like that to express himself more. But yeah, also his sound, and I got the pedal right here, the Yamaha Magic Stump. That's a sound that's just like very him, he has like all these delays running, and it just gives him that amazing sound that's like very recognizable when you hear him. It's also the way he plays, but it's also the tone of his guitar. It has that recognizable tone that a lot of guitar players have, like, but his is just a certain way, and it took me like almost like a decade to find this pedal and to have someone program it the same way he had it set up. And it's like, this was just like exhausting to find. All right, so I'll pick something and I'll be back in a couple of seconds for you guys. All right, so I did go with the Countdown, which is pretty much a it's a cover by John Coltrane, and I just wanted to give you guys like a little bit of a different perspective to people that know him from UK and Soft Machine and the way he used to play to the way he plays here. And this is from None Too Soon, 1996, and this is, I think, also the album that has the most jazzy like outing, because all these songs are kind of like jazz, standards, and most of the stuff is, it's just he has even some Beatles and stuff like this on here. But yeah, we're gonna play a Countdown today, and here we go. All right, let's go. That tone. It's like, why are you fading out here? So good. All right. So I didn't know, like, I'm so blown away that the two musicians here, the drummer and the, give me a second, the drummer. And if you're a fan of jazz fusion, you're going to know Tribal Tech. Gary Willis on bass and Kirk Covington on drums, both from Tribal Tech, are playing on this album, which is amazing. And Gordon Beck as well. So this was John Coltrane. There's some Django Reinhardt on this, Irving Berlin, Joe Henderson, Gordon Beck, then John Lennon, McCartney, Bill Evans, Beck. I don't know if the artist Beck, and then I think Scott Henderson. But yeah, amazing, just amazing lineup. And I've never really I've heard this track maybe, I don't know, maybe 3-4 times. So, but it was just, what a nice, little nod to Coltrane in the form of Holdsworth. And yeah, this is like the crazy it would get, on his rock CDs as well. All right. Well, this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining me, to this amazing marathon. I learned so much about these really cool artists. I mean, I just love Herbie Hancock. Bob James, I've never heard, but is wonderful. Gilgamesh, amazing. And Gong. I mean, this is a little bit different from the Gong that I'd heard, but I love it. And I'm sure gonna check out the ones where Holdsworth has a solo on. And I hope you enjoyed that last little track by Holdsworth. I didn't want to go too, long with him, because obviously this marathon is not about him, but I left like a little tribute, the day after he died. Usually I'm on point, because it's a day that was very tragic for me, and I was just gutted, that that we lost such an important musician. But hey, it's every day it's happening, and it is what it is. So again, thank you so much, ERIK, for this amazing marathon. I appreciate it. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please subscribe to the channel, like, comment below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all in the next one.